Okay, Christopher, you're there.
Oh, good God, I'm not ready. Very well. My first duty, actually it's not a duty at all, it's a pleasure, is to say that when I asked my publishers when I began this little book, please to arrange that I not just do the New York type book tour, but to go to the places where Christians were and ask them if they would be kind enough to debate with me. It was one of the happiest decisions I ever made. I've been very impressed ever since by the warmth and the generosity and the, I won't say the tolerance because that would be patronizing, but the right spirit in which my challenge was greeted, particularly most early by Pastor Wilson, with whose co-authored work you will find fine bookstores are equipped everywhere, including here. All right. Now there was another bestseller just before the First World War. Some of you may even have heard of it. It was a sensational bestseller in the English-speaking world. It was called When It Was Dark, and the author was a man called Guy Thorne. And the mise en scène of the novel is this, that archaeologists digging in the Greater Jerusalem area come across a big round boulder and they roll it away, and there's a tomb behind it in the hill. And on the slab of the tomb is the really quite well-preserved cadaver of someone who has been badly scourged with a horrible whip, who's had nails driven through his hands and his feet. There's a terrible wound in his side, and it has a crown of thorns pressed down very hard on the surface of his scalp. And this is an absolutely certain discovery. Or so it is reported on the wires of the London Times, which was printed, and the story spreads around the world. As the story spreads, darkness descends. People cease to care for their wives or their children. To coin a phrase from, I think, Lady Bracknell, they start doing it in the street and frightening the horses. They borrow, they don't return the money, they take money, they help themselves. There's no standards left. It's all over. Until it's revealed that this was a cruel hoax and imposture, probably a Jewish one. And the normality can be resumed. People are okay to behave well because the resurrection has not been disproved. Now, I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's puerile to think that way, and servile too. That if it could be shown, as I cannot in fact, that the story is entirely, not just partially, but entirely legendary and mythical, I believe I could get quite close to doing that. I do not believe that any one of you would start behaving worse. I don't know you, but I love you as if you were my brothers and my sisters, as I am quite entitled to do without being in communion with you. And I have a feeling you could survive that news and still be decent to your friends, and a great river of support and strength to your families, and still feel solidarity with other humans you hadn't even met. Because you know that without that, we couldn't have evolved in the civilization. And I submit that as a proper basis for ethical study, and in the belief that the proper study of mankind is man. I do think that Jesus was on the mythical verge of where history starts and prehistory ends. There will never be anything like conclusive proof. But I don't mind because the more that the fabrication is uncovered, and many of the stories about him are known to have been untrue, the more one is impressed by people's wish that it be true at the time. And the more one feels that all this invention and all this fabrication wouldn't have been worth it if there'd never been any such person. Paradoxically, the more effort that goes into the myth, the more you think, well, maybe there was no King Arthur after all. It isn't just fiction. But that this person was the Son of God, and proves it by having a virgin for a mother, by being resurrected, because these things are incoherent. Someone could have a virgin for a mother and not be the Son of God. Every prophet, every holy person ever born, right up to and including Kim Jong-il, has had miraculous scenes at the birth, usually involving the unlikelihood that the mother ever had sexual. That's commonplace. Resurrections are repeatedly Douglas sometimes describes them as resuscitations to distinguish them, because these people go on to die again. Nevertheless, other people dying is known to have happened in the Greater Jerusalem area at that time, or is asserted to do so. It might not prove anything on its own. All right, now I've really got to be quick. Does it do any good? In the last week, the Pope has gone to Africa and said AIDS may be bad, but condoms might be worse. The Archbishop of Canterbury has said, a man who, I don't know whether he's a shepherd or not, he does a very good impersonation of a sheep, has said that Muslims in Britain should have Sharia law and the church should help them to install it, and And the Russian Orthodox Church in Moscow has become the official church of Vladimir Putin and his new dictatorship, and has started minting icons, actual icons with portraits of Stalin in them to sell, not just in Georgia, as wonder-working and miraculous objects. And these are just only the 3 largest Christian denominations in the world, and I'm perfectly well aware that many of you in this room, those people aren't really Christians at all. Hands up who doesn't think the Pope is a Christian, or that the Greek Orthodox Pope is a Christian, or that the Archbishop of Canterbury is really a spiritual leader. You're not putting up your hands, but you know who you are. And the fact that there's no agreement on who is or what is Christian, what it is to be one, is not my problem. And it's not by any means the least of yours. I've just mentioned some of the others. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.